Hey, what's up guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi DEATHSTROKE version 1.5. And I want to do a question of the day right away. Do you guys like this look for Deathstroke? Not the figure, but the design this figure is based on, because for me it looks like they tried to take Azrael and merge him with Deathstroke. And unless that's the storyline, because I have no idea where this look comes from, I don't like it. I prefer Deathstroke to look high-tech. I don't like the plate mail. I don't like the weird swords. I don't like any of that for Deathstroke. But the figure looked kind of cool. I wanted to see if they updated it enough to make it worth getting, and so that's why we're going to review it. I haven't reviewed the first one, but I'm assuming you guys are already somewhat familiar with it because it came out forever ago. So let's go ahead and get this guy off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, before we look at the figure, I do want to show you my package. It's this lovely gray modern package. They take the fun out of everything these days. Have you seen a McDonald's lately? Man, they used to be so nice if you grew up in the 90s or 80s. Anyway, here it is. Good packaging for the back, for sure. Lots of cool photos, and yeah, obviously it's a Revoltech, so you should be able to pose it. That kind of pose is awesome. Lots of figures can't do it. That kind of pose you probably wouldn't want a lot of figures to do, but you could with this one. On the side, there's this. This is the thing I don't care for. Like, yeah, flaming swords are cool. Doesn't match Deathstroke for me, but yeah, that's a cool look. It'd be nice if they actually fit it all on the box, though. That's irritating. And then you can see both of his faces there. All right, let's set that aside and move on to the actual review. This guy is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store last I looked. If you want one, I'll put a link in the description below. I don't know if you do, though. I would wait. I mean, obviously I don't know if you do, but I don't know if you're going to want to based on my review is what I'm trying to say, so wait until the end before you decide to buy if you want my opinion. 6.5 inches to the noggin, that's going to make him just about 16.5 centimeters. Here he is up against Darwin, who's posed for a different thing. Yeah, he could fit in well enough. But because these guys have more comic styling, he does seem small because he's got the smaller head, smaller feet, more stylized proportions, that kind of thing. It's a very Revoltech looking figure. Which leads me to my main point as we talk about the aesthetic. It does not look like a modern Revoltech. It looks like an older figure. And they did update some things for sure, but it doesn't have as much of the polish that I was hoping it would have based on some of the other 1.5s, 2.0, 2.5, whatever they've released for like Joker and Deadpool, and maybe that's it. I don't know. But yeah, it still feels a lot like an old Revoltech that's nicer than the old ones, but I don't know. Let's talk about the aesthetic first. I don't like the fact that his pouches don't have any paint on them. And maybe he's drawn that way, I guess that's fine, but it doesn't look good, and they're glossy. So it's kind of an unappealing thing. They look really, really cheap because the paint is glossy. They painted the buckle, that's nice and clean. The overall paint job is clean enough, but again, no painted buckles anywhere. And then the orange being glossy does look cheap. Now, orange is also notoriously hard to paint. The orange pigment is just difficult, and that is shown here. You're not going to see it maybe. Let's see. Maybe to the naked eye. Yeah, it's hard for me to show you. There are spots where there's not enough paint. Or it's not opaque, I guess I should say. So it could look a lot nicer. The blue and silver, those look nice, so that's fine. The line work is clean enough, but it is that damn orange color, and orange is hard. I have had lots of struggles with orange paint in my time as a customizer. And you can see they had struggles too. So yeah, it looks like a cheaper figure. It does look like it's older and less polished. But I guess if you're okay with the Revoltech aesthetic, like the shoulders are like the ugliest shoulders. Granted, the shoulder pads hide them well enough. It does have its fair share of problems, and it still has some of that older QC, which is a shame. His arms are floppy. This one's not as bad. It's not good, though. This one is floppy. And then things like this, and we'll talk about this in the articulation, but it matters for the aesthetic. It does that, which is not a useful thing. Like, you don't need to be able to see inside of his chest. And, like, yes, it does rotate, but not in the most useful way. The ones that go forward and back are way better than the ones that rotate around and flay open like that. So, just based on the aesthetic, it is way less of an update than some of the other figures have been, and it doesn't look good in a lot of ways, but it's a little bit, I mean, I'm assuming the other one was painted poorly because they all were back then, but it's clean enough, I guess. So aesthetically speaking, I'll give it a 6. It's not very good, but it's not terrible. So let's go ahead and talk about the accessories. For the accessories, obviously you have the masked head and the unmasked head. That's fine. One thing that bothers me is on the box for the unmasked head, it has the eyeball pointing in a different direction than the actual plastic, and I thought he was going to have opposable eye. He doesn't, so he just has a googly eye, and a googly eye does not make for a very intimidating character. For hands, it's a very paltry assortment. I think, what is it, 6 total? Yeah, not a lot, so that's a bit of a bummer. But he does have a decent amount of weapons. He's got the pistol. It does fit in the holster on the thigh. He's got the knife, does fit. Where does that get? On the other thigh. So that's fine. He has his rifle, and he has his 2 normal looking swords that have scabbards. And then he has the 2 crazy swords that have a scabbard for one of them, which is weird, and flame effects for both. So that's kind of cool. You get his stick. So his stick of doom. You get his 2 grenades that those clip into his hands. Those are fine. And then you get some little clip thingies that help him to hold stuff, because he has just these ball hinges, one of their shoulder joints, essentially, on his back. And you can use that and those clips to hold his stick, or his big scabbard, or his 2 little scabbards, or however you want to do it. You get some options there. And then lastly, you get his display stand. So that's a pretty good thing. Like, they do a good job with their accessories, and that's basically what the updated versions are for. But not only. I get a lot of people saying, well, it's the same figure as before, but with new accessories. No, I mean, unless this guy came out after they switched their joints, but his torso doesn't have the crappy joints in it. So that's nice. Unless it does up here. Can I pull that apart? I can't pull that apart. I'm pretty sure he's got the new torso joints that the other ones didn't have. But he doesn't have the ratcheting that they used to have. You can hear that squeaky goodness. So yeah, there's some benefit to these guys other than accessories to the updated versions. At least that's how it was for Deadpool for sure. So yeah, accessory-wise, 9 out of 10. It's really, really good. He doesn't have a lot of hands, and the alternate head is kind of janky, so I can't give it a higher score than that, but it's still pretty good. Alright, let's see if this guy is well articulated. He does have this part up here, his little bandana. It doesn't have the type of joint that I would expect, like this one has. It has a little ball hinge, so you can pose it however you want. This one just rotates on a tiny little peg that I feel like it's going to break, so be careful with that. But the head does work nicely. He can look all over the place. His neck is a typical Revoltech neck, so that's nice. And when you take this off, he can hold it like it's an actual mask, which is pretty cool. So like if you want to use the unmasked head, even though it's got a googly eye, he can hold his other head like it's a mask, as long as you don't look behind it. Don't look behind the curtain. For the shoulder pads, they're on a double ball peg, and that does allow them to hide these ugly-ass Revoltech shoulders really nicely, but he also doesn't have that much range as a Revoltech normally does, because the shoulder pads don't get out of the way enough. So with even both of these ball hinges in here, can't raise his arm really, and I already showed you how cumbersome this joint is. So yeah, he's gonna be able to pose for sure. Like bringing across the chest is their bread and butter, and he can definitely do that, shoulder pad and all, so that's nice. But just going out to the side, way limited, and like I said, he's very floppy. Like almost no retention on that one joint, so be aware of that. It does rotate on that joint also. The straight peg allows the bicep to rotate. This one's kind of stuck, it's binding, so that kind of sucks. And then the elbow has the usual joint that lets it rotate and have the hinge that goes nice and tight. So that's alright. Wrists have a tiny ball hinge, so that's fine too. Torso, it definitely is a ball peg. I can't tell exactly what they have going on here. It's very tight, but it's certainly not one of their old ratchety ball hinges. But it does crunch nicely. I'm so close, sorry about that. It does lean back. Side to side is kind of going at an angle, but it works. And then the lower torso moves around really nicely, so that's good. Yeah, he'll be able to crunch up just fine. Look at that. It's amazing how some companies still don't understand the value of ball pegs. It's nice. He's not even gappy, and he doesn't lean back as far, but he leans back nicely. And he can crunch all the way forward. And look at that. Almost no gapping. It's just so simple. Anyway, that's nice. You still get these goofy double ball pegs for the pouches. Some people hate them, some people love them. I prefer them when they have the ball pegs rather than the ball hinges. I think Deadpool had ball hinges. The pegs are easier to manipulate, so that's nice. Now for the hips, let's see. They go out to the side, only that far, so you do still have to use a lot of their rotation and all that garbage. The hips are overly complex on Revoltech. They have been forever. They still are. You can get poses done, but they don't need to have to rotate the way they do, which is super frustrating. And sometimes it keeps them from being able to stand normally. Now his actually work out pretty well, so that's good. And maybe that's because of the way they cut up his peeper area, but his legs work pretty well. They don't have the best range in some angles, but in others it's good. The angled swivel is just the weirdest thing that Revoltech decided to do and implement on everything, and it's just strange. But they work well enough. And then for the knees, single ball joint with the knee pad. So there's still some hint of what used to be here, the different type of knee joint. So they don't have the new type of knee joint where it's just a swivel. But you get this at least to hide that ball. And it's functional as heck, see? He bends nice. And that's okay. And it looks alright. It's probably... You could argue that this is better than the current type of joint that they do. That's just the swivel where it just pegs together. And there's no ball in there. But it works. It works okay. And then for the ankles, you can see big old ball hinge in there. And pretty good range. Ankle rocker, obviously, for days. And the toe hinge is done really nicely. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. So... yeah, it's good. It's not as good as some of the more modern figures. It does feel like an updated older figure, but it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. You'll be able to pose it well enough. I think I'll give the articulation on this guy an 8 out of 10. For a Revoltech, it's not the best one they've ever released, but it's definitely good enough. Now, 8 out of 10 for Revoltech is like 11 out of 10 for most other brands, so it's still going to pose pretty well. Yeah, it's pretty good. So I'll give it an overall rating of, it looks good enough, it poses well enough, lots of accessories, not great. Everything's kind of missing the mark a little bit, but not a lot. So I'm going to say this guy gets an 8 out of 10. It's a good release. If you like the way this version of Deathstroke looks, you like Revoltech figures, yeah, pick it up. You're not going to be disappointed. It's going to be fun as heck to pose, and it doesn't look like a robot like some of the earlier Revoltech figures do. So I would recommend it, as long as you know what you're getting into, and now you do. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but that's it for me. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.